Alright, this is going to be for the web submission style form on Veriform. You'll still be able to do your download reports if you want to do it on the old PDF. But you will need internet because this is going to be a web-based submission. So what you'll need to do is once you get logged in, and if you need to instructions for logging in or creating an account or editing your account, I have videos for that also in the channel. So just go back and look at that if you have any questions about that. What we're going to do is we're going to go over here to Forms, and you're going to say View Forms. And here's where you can view your forms that you can access. This account here only has access for the low volume dispenser, so he'll have a low volume test report and a device service report. And we're going to do the low volume test report in this video. So what you'll need to do is you'll need to click on the low volume, and this is going to bring up your report. Just give you a quick rundown here. We're going to go over it all, but we'll just do that here. All right, now I'm just going to call this, you can name it whatever you want to name it. Just give it a name. Some people like to name it for their location. We're just going to call this test report. I already have that located in there. All right, now here's where you're going to get your location ID information. This is where you would need to enter in, whether it's the street address or the ADM ID number, the low volume ADM underground storage tank, I guess would be a way to say it. That number there. I've got an account created here, so I'll enter that in. But as you type, I want you to watch. It'll start bringing up locations that may have that number in there. And then as you type, see it brings up the one I want it to bring. I don't even have to type in the full name. You can also do it by address. So I can say 1982 electric ELE, and then it'll start bringing it up, narrowing your search down by that. So if you see here, that's the one I want, is at the Electric Avenue. And of course, then you have your date. You can change your date to whatever date that the inspection was done on if you're filling this out when you've gotten home at the end of the day or whatever. All right, so now this part is done. It'll show you your location right here. If this is not your location, then you can come here and say reselect a location. Click on it and then reselect it. And then now you go down here and we're going to have a couple of things. You got your ground tank identifier. We're going to say that this location does not have a ground tank identifier. So I'm just going to come in here and I'm going to say no. This location does use color codes on their tank. So I'm going to say yes. This is where you would check to make sure that the color codes are matching with the tank lids and it's posted somewhere. All right, next is the road sign. Did it pass or fail? We're going to say it passed. Now this is going to be where you check your water in the tanks. And for this example, just to make it kind of quick, I don't want it to be very redundant because it's all the same. So we're just going to say this guy at this location has one pump that has 87, 89, and 93 with octane all at the same location. But he only has two tanks. We're going to say 87 and 93, and he blends for his 89, okay? So the fuel type we're going to be checking the water on first is going to be your 87 with ethanol, okay? And then we'll come in here and we'll just say he has no water level, no water in his tanks at all. And this should be read out in inches. So we'll say he has no water in there on his 87 with his water level reading, and then we'll say add entry to tank water level collection. Click it, and if you'll notice here, it adds it to it. Now, at this point, with this entry, I have three options. This is very similar to the app if you're familiar with the app. You can edit it. I can click on the little pencil here, and I can change it if I accidentally put in, the wrong water level reading or something, and I just say update entry. Or let's say he has two ethanol tanks. A lot of larger locations has multiple tanks to hold their fuel. I can come in here and this is the copy button, and I'll click it and it'll actually copy it, bring it back up here, and I can add it. Okay. Well, let's say I didn't want two of them in here. I could just click the little trash can here, and it will remove the entry. Okay, so now we have one more tank to check, so we'll add that. See, I added the empty one, didn't mean to do it, so we'll come over here, delete it, and then I'll go over here and select fuel type, and we're going to say 93 with ethanol, and we're going to say he had 0 water reading in that also. I'm going to add that. Now we have 2. This is right here so you can kind of keep up with where you're at on what tank and what you have entered already. So we're done with the water level, with the ground tank information and the water levels. We're going to move on now to the pump inspections. Okay, like we said before, this guy's going to have just one pump with 3 grades because we don't want to just keep repeating ourselves to make this video long because it applies if he had 50 pumps or whatever. So we're going to say pump 1. Fuel type is going to be 87 ethanol. And we're going to say he was +1. We're going to put 1 in there. If it's a plus, you just have to put it in as 1. If it's a negative, then you can put it in as like a -1. So we'll say he was a -1 cubic inch. Okay, we're going to take action. We're going to say it's passed. We're going to add this pump to the collection. And just like we did at our water level reading, we're going to do it here in our pump inspections. All right, my entry 1 is going to be pump 1, 87. My rating was -1, and then of course my action taken, it doesn't have enough room to put that in there. But you can see where you're at in the inspection. So now we're going to say pump 1 again. Fuel type, he's going to be 89 with ethanol. And we're going to say that one was 0. Okay, action taken, passed. Just like that, I can edit it. Okay, let's say I want to duplicate that. I can do it. I can create a different way. Let's say I'm going to check the 93 with ethanol. You see how I did that? I can click clear, come over here, and I can just hit duplicate. Since it's pump 1, I can say 93 with ethanol. And let's do this guy as +1. Okay, all you have to do is put the 1 in there. If it's a plus, you don't have to put the plus symbol. And then I'll add the entry. So now we have all 3 octanes tested for that one pump. He's a single hose 3 octane dispenser. If he had 50 of them, it'd be the same way here. If he had diesel, then you could easily just go in here and do diesel or off-road or whatever you might want to do. Okay. So now we're going to move on, and this is going to be, we'll move on to the next section. We're going to go to the inspection summary information part of this. This is for the whole location. So the devices at this location, were they in full compliance? Then yes. You'll need to add remarks. We'll just say all pumps passed. Okay, but this is where you would need to note anything. That way your customer knows what's going on, and then when we as inspectors look up the form, we can look up any notes that you've made so we know what's going on also. All right, owner operator of the location, we'll just say his name is John Doe and put his name in there. And then here is kind of a cool feature. If you have a touch screen, you can use your finger to sign here. If you have a pen, you can use a pen on a touch screen. Or I can use my mouse. You can use your mouse, like I'm going to click my mouse, and I can do that. All right, or I can just I have a pen for my computer. I can just take this pen, and he can sign it. Okay, these are required fields. As you notice, you'll see red X's here. Those mean that they are required fields. Okay, now to move on, we'll need to save that. Okay, now it says that you successfully saved it. Okay, we can now move on to the next one. The next one's going to be the serviceman name. This is already pre-populated because you're logged in as that person. So I'm going to come in here and I will sign my name. That's sloppy, but you get the point. And I'll say save. Now save successfully. And that's it. Now we're at the end of the form. You can at this time go back and just kind of review everything. You can look at something like that, say, okay, I did do that correctly. or check anything out as you want. You can still change the location, but anyway, so we're done. I have done everything. I can click submit. So at that point, I can submit the form, and then come in here, and it has been. You need to read this, but it says you've successfully submitted it. Now, at this point, you have the option to send that report as an email. You can enter an email address here. You can click and you can add as many email addresses you would like to add. And then if you want to type in a note here, you can type in a note, and then you would say submit, and then it would send that email to whoever you wanted it to. Okay. You can also return to the dashboard. If you'll click here, you can look at your profile, and there is the most recent one. It's done sorted by date. I can take a look at it, and it will bring it up. Give it a second here. It always takes it a second to generate the form. And here is your form. Okay. You have a couple of different options. You can email the form, or you can view it as a PDF. And then it'll tell you to please wait while it generates it. You say OK, and then it'll come up and generate the form. Now, while we're waiting on the form to come up, you can, well, here it is. You can bring it up, and this is going to be your form. It's going to have all your information on it. Okay. Everything you've entered in is all right here. And if you wanted to, at this point, you can print it out if you would like to print it out for your customer or whoever. And that wraps it up. So that is your low volume test report, and that completes that part of it. Thank you.